I'm really not sure if I can say the name of the series out loud, but I guess I will not know until my channel is monetized, whenever that happens. So let's do this. Let's talk about the series that got us wondering why. Why women kill. I got to know about this series in about the same way as about all the other good ones and my beloved ones. I heard the name somewhere, then I saw the promo, and on the free evening, the name just came to my mind. The first information about the creation of the black comedy Why Women Kill appeared in September 2018. Actors of the main roles were approved in the spring of 2019. Producer and screenwriter Mark Cherry, who wrote Desperate Housewives, came up with a new story, again about women and again a comedy dramatic one. This time, Cherry decided to show what a woman's revenge can be and how the attitude towards adultery and betrayal changes over time. Completely different actresses were invited to the main roles, in appearance, age, type, but the level of the performers is equally high. The exemplary mother and wife, Beth, was played by Ginnifer Goodwin. The role of the modern carrierist went to Kirby Howell-Baptist. And a daring party girl, Charlie's Angel and Kill Bill star Lucy Liu. The first two episodes of the series were directed by director and music video maker Mark Webb. One of the episodes was directed by Lucy Liu herself as well as Elizabeth Helen and David Grossman. Even if the series did not surprise us with an unusual plot and narrative construction, it undoubtedly benefited from comparing different eras and revealing the main problem that creators tried to convey to the viewer. The problem of marriages does not disappear, and even despite the fact that our society strives to develop and eradicate toxic and abusive relationships, we experience similar troubles across generations, through social classes, and so on. The focus is on three unhappy families, in their own way, and accordingly three representative American eras. 60s with obedient Beth Ann, who knows about her husband's cheating on her but does not imagine how such a juicy problem can be solved without losing face in the eyes of the respectable public. The 80s, which the impulsive rich woman Simone suddenly discovers a craving for same-sex relationships behind her dapper English husband. And finally, our time is 2019, the triad of nervous guy, a feminist, and intriguing bisexual woman, a potentially explosive alignment. What unites these heroines is that they all dream of the conditional female happiness, ideas about which have changed fundamentally in half a century, and fall into rage upon learning about the betrayal. The unequivocally right and wrong, regardless of gender, do not exist at all in the colorful world of Why Women Kill. Everyone has either motivation or the oppression of circumstances or an imbalance in relationships. And almost everyone has to empathize. As much as we like to think that the institution of marriage has evolved over the past decades, indefinitely can still strike us to the core. Why Women Kill explores that happens when women's primary instincts are suddenly released, says Mark Cherry. The authors of the series created an incredibly beautiful picture. They selected and worked out in detail the clothes and decoration for each decade. The outfits of the heroines reflect both their characters and era. Beth wears doll dress with a cut-off waist in pastel colors. Simone is always wearing shiny tight skirts, large earrings, stilettos, and for Taylor, clothes does not seem to play a significant role at all. Her wardrobe is minimalistic and monochromatic, albeit in bright colors. The appearance of the house is also changing, in which women have been faced with infidelity for decades. From a stylish, comfortably furnitured family nest, it turns into pretentious and gaudy mansion, and then becomes a completely unpretentious and ordinary house. In 1963, a cheerful housewife, Beth Ann, lives in a house who seeks to save her failing apart marriage and please her husband in everything. Beth Ann's desire to be a perfect wife is reflected in the design of the house. The interior turned out to be consistent and correct. There are no bright colors and unusual ornaments here. 60s home furnishings were sought out in the vintage markets, and some items such as sofa and 2 armchairs in the living room were created specifically for the filming. The next owners of the mansion are a bohemian couple from the 80s. Simona furnitures the house in the best traditions of American excesses: marble tiles, bright walls, gold trim, and expansive decor items. It's easy to get lost in such a bold interior, but not for the Lucy-Lou's heroine. On the contrary, the decorations thought to emphasize Simone's penchant for vanity and narcissism. This is hinted not only to be the huge portrait of the heroine in the living room, but by the abundance of the mirrors and other reflective surfaces in the house. The setting in the house of the successful careerist Taylor reflects not so much the character of the heroine as the character of the entire era of the 2000s. The laconic and discreet design looks authentically pleasing, but lacks any zest. Modern heroes value personal comfort most of all, so the furniture in the house is practical and comfortable, and the decor is functional. A separate advantage of the series is, of course, the costumes. Costume designer Jenny Brandt, who worked at Man Man and 2017's It, has successfully an incredible wardrobe. And if you want to know how the wealthy women of the 80s dressed, take a closer look at Simone's chic outfits. She wears outfits from Yves Saint Laurent, Givenchy, Armani, and Lagerfeld, and luxurious jewelry. Brandt used real archival designer fabrics and apparel. The world in which the heroines live is bright, glossy, and deliberately ideal. And this is an interesting visual move, because this creates a strong contrast to the tragic events of the series. So we see that anything can be hidden behind the perfect picture. Mark Cherry always refers to the female theme in all his works, but if Desperate Housewives, which came out in the 2000s, in the first season talk about how the heroines are trying at any cost to save relationships and the illusion of happy life, then the series perfectly reflects how much views have changed during this time. Women have first of all tried to find themselves and become happy, and they do not seek happiness from the outside, but change themselves, and after they change the world around them. The series perfectly balances between drama and comedy, naivety and sarcasm. Yes, it's not perfect. Besides, we are very much out of the habit of the glossy, glamorous picture. But it turned out good. It's a great entertaining series that makes you laugh, but at the same time raises serious problems. We're talking about how wonderful the series is, but really, what is the highlight of this film is the ability to surprise and denouement, which literally knocks you down. I have already mentioned in my videos more than once that I very quickly figure out the plot twists before they happen, and unfortunately, this in many cases prevents me from enjoying the movie, but not this time. The creators of the 2 last episodes just literally got to the breaking point, and to skim on unexpected, cruel, and sometimes absurdly trashy twists and turns. Heroes can literally lose their mind in an emotional outburst or execute a well-thought-out plan that has been carefully hidden from the viewer. And this is what it amazes and fascinates. And most importantly, it's remembered. If you thought that the second season would simply continue the puffed path and the women in it would also learn about the infidelities of their husbands, and so on along the list, then you are deeply mistaken. The creators took a completely different path and changed literally everything. From location to character motivation, the series becomes an anthology. For those who don't know, this is a kind of series in which each of the episodes or seasons has its own story, characters and actors. And if you look at it that way, anthologies have become quite popular in our time. This makes the work of the scriptwriters easier because there's no need to pull all the veins from the popular TV series and invent some kind of nonsense. You can create a new interesting story under an already popular title. The action takes place in 1949. Sweet puffy housewife Alma Felkett, wife of veteran Bertie and mother of an adult daughter who works in a cafe, devotes all her time to growing luxurious flowers. She dreams of getting into the Gardeners Club, but people like her are not accepted there. The members of the institution are women entirely refined, rich, and respectable. However, if a woman tired of life really wants something... Alma comes up with a cunning plan and, almost like Cinderella, gets to the ball. True, the fairy godmother in her case does not materialize, and the dress, terribly funny, the heroine constructs herself. At a club event, she managed to impress one of the high society ladies, and voila, she is recommended as the member of the organization. Alma's husband, Bertie, whom the whole town seems to communicate because of sick cats and dogs, is not able to appreciate the joys of his wife. This shy man has his own secret and scary life. What will Alma do when she finds out who she lives with under the same roof? At the same time, the story of Rita Castillo, a rich representative of the club, develops. She also has her skeletons in the closet. Firstly, she is cheating on her husband with an unlucky gigolo actor. And secondly, almost without hiding, she waits for her husband to die.
Carlo is a vile man with a weak heart. When we got married, he swore he wouldn't make it to 70. He's now 80. If he's not going to keep his wedding vows, why should I?
The sultry beauty justifies his own behavior. And here we also have the right to expect somebody bloody, especially since the woman's lover sleeps with Alma's daughter. It is a much more beautiful picture than before. It all starts with credits, go again the background of dresses, then enchanting first scene traditionally not related to the plot, with the Hollywood track, a star in a shiny red low-cut outfit, and then it seems how much more beautiful it is. But each new frame causes convulsive delight in you. The action taking place around the Gardeners Club suggests that there will be many plants in the frame, and it's true. Roses, lilies, dahlias are amazing. Fashion of 1949 kind of pin-up calendar also turns out to be a powerful help. The outfits are such that you want to look at them in detail. Ornaments, all these clips, necklaces, rings. The cast team presents a hot mix. Here, and the British comedian Nick Frost and Alison Tolman, familiar from the series Fargo, and our beloved Lana Parrilla and Matthew Daddario, all organically cope with a complex genre that combines elements of black comedy, horror, and melodrama. Well, for those who are looking for an additional to the beauty of the picture high meanings, there's also something to profit from. Self-realization of a woman, fight against stereotypes, social inequality, movement towards their dreams, gaining strength. Indeed, after each episode you start wondering, but it's either not true or will be played out in a completely different way, and it is amazing. The last episode of the second season was great, but I loved Nines more. And I'm so grateful that this series does not parasitize on what we love and just create something new. So I like the show, and I would suggest you to watch this if you haven't already, because we need to support works of art like that and watch only good movies that make you think and feel.